Judge Walter Rivera, member of the Board of Directors, will now introduce this year's commencement speaker, Professor Peter Sellars.
Good afternoon. And by the way, the bar exam is just 2 days. Peter Sellars is a theater and opera collaborative arts director, as he would say, and a teacher, a social activist. His career has been dedicated to disproving the proposition that when politics comes through the door, art flies out the window. Mr. Sellars began his theater career while an undergraduate at Harvard with controversial and widely admired puppet productions. Received the MacArthur Fellowship at the age of 25, is known for his radical reinterpretations of operatic works by Mozart and Wagner, and for his pioneering collaborations with the composer John Adams and the video artist Bill Viola. For him, the question in the arts is how one breaks through the walls that prevent most of us from engaging in our real environment and changing it, experiencing it totally, not through some membrane, but actually touching it. In his works as a director, curator, film festival programmer, but most important as a teacher, Mr. Sellars has dealt with issues such as the relationship between American drug policy and our nation's incredibly high levels of incarceration of young black men, or the complex notions of the roots of what some call terrorism and others discuss in terms of liberation. Most recently, Mr. Sellars collaborated with the Brooklyn street dance collective Flexin in a powerful work at the Park Avenue Armory that included a frank discussion of the solitary confinement of teenage suspects at Rikers Island. The deceptively simple question Mr. Sellars asked artists, has your work today made everyone else's life better, should have particular resonance to us here at SVA. Mr. Sellars, the podium is yours.
Good afternoon, spectacular people. Congratulations! Wow! Hello, gorgeous people. Hello! Thank you for graduating. We're ready for you now. Come on over. May I please thank the spectacular Department of Parents and Families. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for major support and vision of your visionary. Thank you very, very much. Yes. And may we please thank the incredibly gifted, serious, and powerfully committed faculty. Hello. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Commitment to a future, yes. Okay, now look, I'm sure parents, when you learned that one of your children was going to be an artist, oh my God, that's the worst possible thing. I should really just emphasize times have changed. When I was graduating, the devil was waiting at the gates of the graduation ceremony with that contract for Citibank. And of course, those people, we know their sad stories. They have been downsized, fired, and arrested. The shame is theirs. Thank God for this new generation, the devil got tired. There are no jobs. No one's waiting to offer you anything at all. So you have no excuse. You don't have to join the masses of people who hate their work and are destroying the planet every single day. You can totally commit your life to what you believe in, what you love, and do it all the way on your terms. If there is a job available and funding available, that means by definition, it is something that did not need to be done. If there is no funding and no job, you know this is what needs to happen next on the face of the earth. We are at a place of such social and political and economic paralysis, aside from the occasional collapse. And that means this is time for artists. That means all the solutions have to be creative solutions. We've seen business as usual. It does not work for anyone but 6 people. And those 6 people have a huge, serious narcotics intake. You know, we have lots of proof that money doesn't bring happiness. But I would really say the opposite is right now. This is the time to reimagine things because everything is broken deeply. The justice system. Who is in prison right now and why? Not one part of this is acceptable. The level of world poverty at the moment, world poverty has tripled in your lifetime. People are poor who were never poor before, ever. And not just poor, desperate. Right now, this afternoon, in Mali, I can buy a 21-year-old or 22-year-old for $20 and work them to death. There's more slavery now in our lifetime than in Abraham Lincoln's lifetime. There's never been more slaves at any time in the history of planet Earth than right now. And the difference between our generation and Abraham Lincoln's generation is that when Abraham Lincoln was alive, a slave cost about as much as a car. So you had to take care of them. Now, I can get a kid in Thailand or West Africa for $20 and work them to death because I don't have to feed them or take care of them in any way. And so they're disposable like your Starbucks cup. Just get another one. There are plenty more desperate, 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 desperate people selling themselves and their children into slavery. 100 years from now, people would say, why did we not notice? How could we not tell? What were we on that we did not get the extreme at this moment on earth? Systems that should actually create and foster human achievement and productivity. And we have so many wasted lives. Congratulations to you guys for devoting yourself to something productive, intelligent, and exhilarating. But please commit your work to everyone who's not in these chairs, who couldn't get admitted, who had no chance of paying tuition, and are still waiting, and are still productive and amazing people. Step one of being an artist is looking around and saying, what is missing from this picture? And your job is to put it there. Your job is to see what's not here yet. A journalist can just look at what's there and report on it. You start with a blank piece of paper, and before the day is done, there's something on it that didn't exist in the world before. That is so powerful. That is so powerful to ask yourself what needs to be here, and then please put it there. Look around, but also look inside. Look at your own life. What are the holes? What's missing? What hurts? What doesn't work? What is a disaster? What is unbelievably depressing? Please treasure those things, because that is the clay out of which you will sculpt and make your great work. It's from everything in your life you're not proud of, you're not pleased with, and that you don't even want to tell anyone about. That's the place that makes you human. That's the place where it gets real. That place is where we're all equal. Success is not where we're equal. Success is where we're really not equal. But we're all human because we all know tragedy and we all know things that are devastating. And you're equal with every single other human being on earth. And please treasure the days you are super depressed, super out of control, and can't get any work at all. Because later when you start working, you have no time for anything. That's the only time you're actually going to take anything in. That's the time you're drinking it in. That's the time you're actually getting rich. So treasure the downtime, because that's the time where the creative stuff happens. And understand that your most powerful work comes from not kind of what you might want to dream up. It comes from necessity. And the more you can touch something necessary, the more powerful that is. And what's so cool, being artists, right, is you guys have the power to do everything that's not working in the world, because what's not working in the world is people don't know how to talk to each other, they don't know how to communicate, and they don't know how to see each other. Right now, we can shoot and kill young black men because we don't know how to see them, we can't look them in the eye, we have no idea, we're not face to face. What is required are serious portraitists. What is required are people who know how to look into somebody's eyes and see a life, see multiple lives, see human beings, and not only see a past, but see a future. I need to know, in a period of massive dehumanization of 9/10 of the planet, this is a time for the humanities to step forward. And so say, hello, these issues are not conservative or liberal and are not economic questions. They are human questions. And we need to establish that level of humanity and what it means to look at and engage with a human being in their fullness, in their multiple dimensionality, lifetimes, possibilities, and aspiration. And what is really important is to remember just about yourself. Most days you are not the person you want to be. You are not the person you imagine yourself to be at all. And guess what? When you're all annoyed by somebody else, realize that they're the same deal. That's not who they wanted to be either. And so your task is not to get all mad at somebody, but to actually create the conditions where the people you are encountering take another step towards being the person they wanted to be by virtue of meeting you. And I think that question of coming from the holes, the missing pieces in your own life, please recognize the unbelievable power of those empty places calling out. Those are the places that are open in you. As artists, we are the opposite of politicians. Politicians tell you what they think they know and go forward from their facts and their rationality, which is a total flim-flam operation. Every time anybody marshals their facts, you say, oh, excuse me, a fact? Really? We're talking about something deeper than facts. There are two types of knowledge, scientific and non-scientific knowledge. Scientific knowledge is everything you can measure. And that's what mostly we're being told the whole world is stuff we can count and measure. But in fact, look at your life, and the stuff you can count and measure are the smallest things in your life. And everything you cannot count and cannot measure are the largest and most important things in your life. How much do you love your grandmother, and does she love you? There is no number. In Buddhism, those things are called the immeasurables. The four great immeasurables are love, compassion, courage, and generosity. You'll never run out of those things ever. You'll have all the love you need. You'll have all the courage you need. Generosity opens you into the infinity of your being. Because generosity starts a cycle of giving that will never be exhausted. Which is what it means to be an artist, is just to give and give and give and give and give and then give some more. You are part of an inexhaustible cycle of infinity, and you are bringing that to earth. And you are the specific representatives of the infinite on the surface of this planet. Continue your infinite activity. Measureless, open, wide open, no last word. Just the next word, the next gesture, the next vision. Open, 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 never closed, never closed, never closed, never, never closed, remaining open. And realize that those places that are open because they're empty are the places where change will take place. That's why they're there. That is the location of change. Change is going on in our lives every minute. Change is going on every second on this planet. There's nothing but change. But we're artists, and so we reach beyond change and we go to the next step, which is called transformation. It's like you take something, work with it, and that experience allows something to become its opposite. Allows something to flower into a state of fulfillment that nobody could have seen. But needed to be there first in poisonous form. So I would like everybody here, please, to think of themselves as a human water treatment plant. Plant yourself at the site of maximum toxicity, fully present, drink in every poison imaginable, all this hatred, anger, pollution, random rage and frustration and disappointment. Drink it in and hand people back 1 cup of sparkling clear water they can drink. The original artists were trees, right? Don't make a giant issue. In fact, shut up, but be beautiful. And every single day, just take in all this damn carbon monoxide and create oxygen. And nobody acts like you're a big deal, but in fact, you're the only reason there's life on planet Earth. Because you're a tree and you're making oxygen. And you're rooted and you're reaching to the sky and you're amazing. And every single new leaf is a miracle. Now, one of the powerful things about being an artist is that most good in the world is unseen. The reason newspapers and the news are all full of evil stuff is because evil is so in your face, it's so obvious, it's so everywhere. But to find good, you have to look more carefully. You have to actually look deeply to find good. And to see that good is actually working way harder than evil, but quietly, secretly. That's why you're an artist, is most people don't look, so they don't see good. Artists, you're looking deep. You're looking with what is called not just sight, but insight. You're seeing what cannot be seen. You're seeing the invisible. You're seeing the visible move. You're hearing the unheard, right? Deep listening. You're hearing what people are saying, but you're also hearing what they're not saying. The Buddhist god or goddess of compassion is called Avalokiteshvara, the one who the one who sees the sounds of the world. Hello, artists. I'm just saying the one who sees the sounds of the world. First of all, can you hear the world? Can you hear what that world is trying to say? And then can you see the signs of it? And render those signs, please. So what the Quran says, don't you have eyes? Can't you see every single thing around you is a sign? Please learn to read the signs around you. And then offer those signs to the people around you. Because it's a lesson, and hello, it's an envelope, and most people have not even opened their mail. Now, may I just please suggest two basic things, one of which is in order to support yourself, you are going to have to get really good at fundraising. And that's fantastic. It is the opposite of the old school of artists who, I'm a genius, you will support me. Which is, next step is, running North Korea. And instead, to have to engage with a whole bunch of other people with your practice in order to convince a lot of people that what you're doing is worth doing. In fact, in that process, what you're doing deepens a whole lot. The more people you talk to, the more input you get, the more you're part of a community, not this isolated, wacko person drunk in the corner of the bar who thinks they're better than everyone else and may not even be white but believes in white supremacy. And so all I want to just say is get used to working in collectives, get used to working and convincing other people of what you're doing and listening to their feedback, and actually support your work through a series of a totally new ecology, which is virtual solidarity and communities all across the surface of the earth. Right now, we have to thank the CIA for the internet. You have to recognize that right now you can be in contact with people all over the world and be making things and be doing things that are important to somebody somewhere in a useful way. Do people have CSAs here? You know what a CSA is, right? Community-supported agriculture, where you are making a link with a farm, and every Friday there's a box of vegetables that comes to your door, and you know that the people who grew those vegetables took care of the planet. There were no poisons, there were no toxins in that growing of those beautiful vegetables, and so you eat them, and you feel the pleasure that your money supported something that was right action. We can now put our money where our beliefs are. We can support people we want to support. We can start creating completely new communities of mutual support, interaction, and that is super inspiring for an artist because you're not alone staring at the wall for an idea. You're part of a conversation that's moving across the world, and again, you're moving your practice to a place of need, and you're answering a need. And so your work becomes important, not just because someone said it was important, because it actually turns out to be important. And you are actually part of the new economy. The age of the Industrial Revolution is over. There is another economy, and this is an economy of communities, creating things that are important to them. In Buddhism, there's something called right livelihood, right? Most people, every single day when they go to work, their intelligence and everything they believe is totally insulted by their job. You are not in that situation. You are totally, every single day, doing something you care about and believe in, and so it's called right livelihood. You don't have to hurt anyone to do what you're doing. There doesn't have to be any bad karma at all. That is powerful. That is deep. Take that the whole distance. Meanwhile, recognize, and you got it, art is not about art, it never was. Art is about everything else. And art is a way that everything else works, right? The fact that we removed art from the schools for 25 years gave us the current Congress. People who have no idea how to talk to each other, how to do anything. What it means to do something and do it beautifully is what you do. And I have to say, doing it beautifully is what counts. I think of art as how to tell your dad something your dad doesn't want to hear. It's very tricky. If you just do it crudely, it's going to be horrible for everyone. So you have to do it very skillfully, which is why it's called art. It requires skill. You can't just do it crudely. You're trying to communicate a difficult truth, and therefore it has to be done beautifully and with love. Your parents brought you into this world through an act of love. The next assignment is act of love. And just to give you serious Hindu aesthetics, let's get serious here. There are two ways of looking. And as artists, your job is to look and teach other people how to look. The main thing that we see all the time on television, etc., is called the evil eye. Right? It's when you look at somebody and you think you're superior to them. And we are in a society run by the evil eye. Of like not knowing how to see beauty in another human being and just seeing what an evil eye wants to see in another human being and see that person as less than human and less than you. That is the evil eye. It's known in every culture on earth. The opposite is the gaze of love. Gaze of love is what happens with you and your partner, where you just get home at the end of the day and you're exhausted and wiped out and feeling like a piece of nothing. And you open that damn door, and your beautiful partner is making something to eat and turns and looks at you with the gaze of love. And you walked into that apartment subhuman. And you are now human again. And what we're talking about is the transformative nature of looking deeply and beautifully and seeing not what people are looking like or how they're behaving at the moment, but seeing everything else. Inviting them into that, and also inviting the rest of the world to recognize the immensity of every human being. Okay, you guys, I'm going to just leave you with one last thing, which is, yes, it's going to be hard. You've worked really hard up to this point, I can tell, right? You worked, right? Thank you for your work. Thank you for your work. Thank you for your work. Okay, guess what? Now the hard work. So as it gets harder, because the older you get, the harder it gets. But please write a letter to yourself now, because your 21-year-old self sees the world much clearer than your 31-year-old self, your 41-year-old self, or your 51-year-old self ever will. You will have lots of reasons to lie to yourself later on, so remember what you think about now. That is really powerful. But also, as you move forward, please take, it's called in Buddhism the 7 limbs of enlightenment. Limbs, I love limbs because it's like it's in your body. It's not like, don't think nice thoughts. How do you actually put your belief system into your body and live it? That's the question, right? Lots of people can talk, that's fine, but how do you live that? How do you live everything you believe in? The limbs of enlightenment. Enlightenment is in your body, not just in your mind. First step, of course, mindfulness, pay attention. Second step, investigation. Ask the questions. Ask powerful questions. Ask serious questions, and ask the questions nobody's asking. And ask better questions, because if you ask a better question, you will get better answers. So part of what being an artist is asking the questions deeply. Part 3. After asking those questions, looking deep into those questions, energy. The energy to follow through. The commitment, the fierceness of sheer physical energy, spiritual energy it takes you to go up against the hardest systems, the most entrenched injustice, the most incorrect imbalances, and go up against them day after day after day. And don't get tired and don't get all sad, but the opposite, keep your energy high and strong and clear and powerful, because your work has to be done. You are on earth to do that work. That is your work, and everything on earth is going to empower you in that work. Generations going back are going to be at your back if you do what you should be doing. The reason you're here is to do everything your parents and your grandparents and their grandparents couldn't do. You are now here to do that. My friend Guillermo Gomez Pena says when he sits in a cafe and writes in his notebook, sipping his cappuccino, that is because 20 generations of campesinos in his family were in the fields before dawn and worked until after dusk. That's the taste of that cappuccino, and that's what that page in your notebook is about. And you do what you're on earth to do, and they are supporting you. And you don't bother with what you're on earth to do, and they are so sad. Step 4, joy. Hello, joy. Keep the joy, keep the humor, keep the love. It's tough out there. Keep that love going, keep that humor going, keep the joy. We're doing it for joy, not that tight-lipped, anxiety-ridden look of people who are out for money, sad them, and are all tense because they're freaked out, because, of course, as soon as you want money, there's a lot of stress in your life. Step 5 is about tranquility, ease, calm. Walk away from the stress. Go to the real place. What you want to do is right. If you force it, it's going to be a drag. You've got to find that sweet spot where it's easy. That beautiful moment in a drawing where suddenly it's easy. That beautiful moment in a relationship where suddenly it's easy. That beautiful thing where suddenly something is easy because it's so natural and makes so much sense and it feels great. It's like find the place where finally it's easy. Then from there, you can go to that beautiful place of equanimity, of genuine equality between you and everyone, particularly your enemies, who you have to cherish, like in Japanese martial arts, for God's sake. Honor your opponent. Honor your opponent. No, we want equality, so hello, honor the people you're fighting. Honor them. Recognize the people who are messing you up are deepening your practice. And understand what it means to be an artist is the deeper and more shocking the obstacle, the more you have to get creative. So don't get all sad about the obstacle. Don't get all sad that you don't have funding. Because if you don't have funding, then you actually have to find a creative solution. Your creativity deepens with everything you don't have to work with. Right? It's like when you travel, if you want to get to know people, don't have any money. You'll meet a lot of people. Everything gets deep when it's not a question of money, when you can remove the money from the topic and actually deal with the topic itself and realize you yourself are liberated from money, and money is not the defining condition of your existence, and it never will be, and it never has been. Ever, ever, ever don't follow the money. Everyone else is. Don't pay attention to the money. Don't be dictated to by the money. It's the opposite. The money is never right about anything. The money is always wrong about everything. Live a life that has the meaning and the courage that money can't buy. That stuff is not for sale, what we're talking about and what you have. It is so not for sale. It is not for sale. And everything we're looking at, we're watching the meaning stripped away from it as if, oh, this doesn't mean anything. Actually, it means a lot. And our job here as artists is to put meaning, reattach meaning to everything. And say, guess what? What's powerful and what's worth living for is a life of meaning. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, beautiful people. Go for it all the way. Nothing but brilliance and heart. Go all the way with that heart and that brilliance and take it the distance, because the distance is waiting for you. The distance needs to be covered. It's all waiting for you to be there, intervene, jump in, and go.